What's up, YouTube? This video has come highly recommended from multiple comments, multiple people. Just really wanted to see what I have in my bag. I'm going to run you through my skills, my fittings, and my archetype, and why I choose my archetype, and why I kind of have what I have in my bag, and yardages, etc., things of that nature. Probably going to be a short-ish video. I'm not going to run too deep into it. I think a higher level analysis overall is probably going to be what's best for you guys. But a lot of people are asking like what I'm using, and I feel it could be beneficial to a lot of people to kind of pick my brain about a lot of things. All right, so we're gonna start over in the golfer, where we got two different things. We're gonna start with the archetype. Archetype. I am on rhythm. So if you kind of look through all the archetypes, this one has pretty decent swing timing general, pretty decent swing path general, and everything else is pretty average. Whereas something like Powerhouse, you have bad timing, bad swing path, and a little less putt weight and putt path. And then this one is worse timing, worse swing path, better putt weight, better putt path. And then this one's worse timing, worse swing path. Like this overall, I like starting with a higher base timing, so that it's easier for me to manipulate the fittings to fit what I see as a more beneficial thing to use within my game. Just because I feel if you have a higher base timing, it's a lot easier to level it out back to 81 because I feel like anything above 80 for an attribute is very good. While anything below 80, you kind of run into maybe a little bit more inconsistencies. And I also want to preface that my bag is not optimized. My bag is not optimized by any stretch of the imagination. It could definitely be better, but I'm very comfortable with the yardages that I have, and I really like how it's set up now, so that's why I'm refusing to really adjust it at all. But if we move on to the skills, we're going to go one by one on these just so you guys can kind of understand. You get 50 skill points, and I did this a long time ago when I had a 3-iron instead of a hybrid, which we'll get to why I have a hybrid over a 3-iron later. But now that I have a hybrid, I didn't want to reallocate my skills because I was really happy about the skills that I had on this game already. But okay, so the first skill we use, we put 2-bar, we got this to level 2, the Trailblazer, and this gives us a normal shots where we have a swing path boost off the tee. Overall, it activates if we miss 3 fairways. It deactivates if we hit 2. Doesn't really do too much, but if you're ever struggling to hit the ball off the tee, this can help you kind of get a little bit of a boost to where it might not go as far offline if you hit a push or a pull. Another driver one we use is the tee time, level 3. It gives us a bigger timing boost, bigger white window. This happens if you have poor timing 3 times, which it can happen. And then if you hit 2 fairways in a row, it won't be active. Now we get to probably the more important ones. Aerodynamics. Level 3, it activates if you're hitting into a 5 mile per hour or greater headwind. So for that, that means my stock driver goes 299. This activated, it goes 303. I'm playing on plat. We're hitting into massive headwinds all the time, and it can really help boost the distance. Those 4 extra yards can sometimes be the difference of having a good club versus a bad club and needing more shaping or less shaping. We also have the tee and crush. So normal shots receive a power boost off the tee. This is you hit a carry distance of 275 or greater, and it deactivates if you score par more than 2 times in a row. In this case, this adds another 4 yards, so my driver can get up to 307, 8 yards larger than what it normally is, which I personally really do enjoy. Then we also have the take the wheel. And this is level 3, so it's always active, means we always have a transition, swing path, and a timing boost off the tee. Just a standard thing what we have there. Then we move on to the woods, which for me is just a 3-wood. We have normal shots receive a transition boost from the fairway, and this is hitting 3 fairways in regulation or missing 2 greens. So this is decent. It's obviously a lot of people use this just because they feel it gives them a smoother swing throughout. I haven't really noticed too much of a benefit of it personally. Then we have the timing boost, which is incredibly incremental, especially if you're hitting a 3-wood into a par 5 and you really need to work on timing. This one we have momentum. We have a swing path boost. I don't play a straight swing plane. It helps me to have a little bit more forgiveness with the swing plane just because if you have a smaller swing path, then you're going to run into issues with hitting big pulls versus big pushes and things of that nature. And then for the passive skill, we get a transition, swing path, and timing boost as well. Like I said, nothing really on the fittings for the hybrid just because I just am too lazy, honestly, to adjust it. If I were to choose anything, I would probably either give it the back on track or the spin class, just because a spin boost from the fairway flying into a par 5 could be incredibly helpful. Then on the irons, we don't use anything for lie range from the heavy rough, shaping from the fairway, or splash shots, but we do use flight boost from the fairway. So this can, if we're hitting to a headwind of 10 miles per hour or greater, it gives us like a yard or two. So nothing too crazy, because then it keeps your yardages pretty close to what they normally are to be what you're used to, but then it also feels like it doesn't get stood up by the wind as much. Then we also use the passive skill, which is the transition, swing path, and timing. So we only get the timing. Sorry, I misspoke on these other ones. I'm not going to re-record it. Each level of these dictates what you get. So if I had the iron on level 2, that would mean I get a swing path boost. So for all of these, I have timing boosts. I don't have transition and swing path, but I have timing boost. That was me misspeaking. I just remembered that I got corrected by that from someone a few weeks ago. So I just want to clarify that you only get the passive skill on the level that you have it at. Okay, let's make that clear. Wedges, we have the chip shot timing boost, because then that allows us to have a little bit of a more better, higher window, and then it also makes it easier for us to have a little bit more control over our shots. The other ones, really, timing boost from the bunker, you could use that if you really wanted to, but I feel you have more chips than splash shots. Pitch shots already spin enough in my opinion, so you don't really need to use that. Chip shots, I don't think you want a roll boost, because then you have a little less control of stopping it. Flop shots, shaping, you're going to shape them either way. I don't think the shaping boost really does too much. And then normal shots receive a power boost. And now I'm comfortable with my yardages. I prefer the timing boost on the chips. Then we also have the timing boost active here. Then where I spend most of my skills, which is putting, because I feel putting is the most important thing. You can get tee to green, you still got to be able to put the ball in the hole. Putt path boost on the green. Putt path boost on the green. Putt weight boost on the green. Putt weight boost on the green. Do not use this. Greenskeeper will make your green speeds faster, because it has a roll boost, so it rolls farther. It makes greens that are fast even faster and greens that are slow less slow. So please do not use this, because then it can really mess with your mental ability and understanding green speeds and how you want to putt on those greens. Putt path boost, we've already used enough. We wanted to save 2 for this. We used ours on putt weight boost instead of putt path, just because I do very much value putt weight, because I feel that's the most important. But overall, that's kind of my skills. I'm going to leave it here for everyone to screenshot if they really want to. This is how I set it up. This is how a lot of other top players have set it up. I got this from Spice, former number 2 player in the game, doesn't really play this anymore. And I think a couple other people also use this skill tree, even with hybrids in their bag. But speaking of the golf bag, we're going to move on over to the golf bag. Locker. All right. For me, we have a driver, a 3-wood, and a hybrid. And then we also have a 3-iron. No 4-iron. We go to a 5 to ensure we have the hybrid in the bag. And then we have a 6-iron, and it's pretty stock down the line from there. Let's start at the top of the bag. Talk about what we have for fittings. Here, power all the way. Gets us to 299 for a driver yardage, which I'm pretty comfortable with. I think if your stock driver yardage is anywhere between 296 to 300, and you're not sacrificing too much on the other qualities, then you're fine. 72 timing's a little low, but since I'm playing on rhythm and I need to add a lot of power, it's obviously going to dictate that timing, which is what happens. And as you can see here on the 3-wood, pretty much the same thing. I like my 3-wood to sit anywhere between 258 and upwards. Some people play like 263, 264, some are at 266 even. But I like 261, because then I feel like I still have a gap between that and driver off the deck, to where I can choose to overpower this or play this instead of feeling like I have to go driver off the deck, because some people have a 3-wood that may go 250. That can lead to people really having to hit more driver off the decks, where I can be hitting a 3-wood. And I feel that's an incredible skill to have, especially on these plat courses where you need a little bit more shaping of spin versus coming in with a low driver versus getting a little more loft on something like a 3-wood. Then we move on to the hybrid, which I added into my bag a couple months ago. I wanted this to bridge the gap between my 3-wood and my 3-iron. So for me, 20 yards pretty much between the two, 21 and then 22. I feel that's a really good number for me, and that's how I just use these fittings. Overall, if you look at the stats, 80 power, 85 timing, 100 swing path, decent shaping, so you can mess with the yardage a little bit with loft and spin, and then the lie range is pretty good, which I also really do enjoy. Gives me a more keen understanding of where things are at. Like I said earlier, anything over 80 timing is really beneficial. I feel it gives you a little less inconsistencies with your misses, personally. And then I'm going to jump a little bit, but 3-iron, 6-iron, down to pitching wedge all have the same fittings. 5-iron is the only inconsistency. So if you look at it here, I am currently using a timing fitting, a swing path fitting, and a shaping fitting. You're going to be like, why are you using those 3 fittings? You talked about swing path, you talked about all these things. It's because of what it does to my stats. So look what it does. It gives me plus 10 power, gets it to 70 power. I personally like having a little bit shorter irons because I do overpower up the tee a little bit, and I like feeling I have a little bit more control because I feel when you have like a 180 yard 8-iron, your fast and slows get hurt a lot more because you don't have as much allocated to other areas on the tree if you're using higher power. And that's kind of my thought process. And like you see, 95 timing, 100 swing path, pretty good shaping, so I'm able to manipulate it a little more, and a good lie range. That's kind of where I'm at. And then the reason I took out the 4-iron is because I felt stepping on a 5, because the options are you take out your 3, your 4, or your 5 when it comes to adding a hybrid. You can take away the 3 if you're comfortable adding more power to your 4 and 5-iron. You can take away your 4 if you're comfortable having a shorter 3-iron and adding to your 5. Or you can get rid of your 5 and then step on your 6 and then bring the 4 down a little bit. But for me personally, I like having a shorter 3 because I feel I have a higher timing, more control over it, and I'm fine having a little less timing on my 5-iron to add a little bit more power. As you can see, I took away the shaping and added in the power boost for this one. And as you can see, added 5 to the power because I think it took it from 195 to 199. 90 timing, 96 swing path, 66 transition, doesn't really matter. 68 shaping, it does the job, and 87 lie range. So good lie range. Then from the 6 and down, it's the same as the 3-iron. And then we get to the wedges. I go timing, timing, power. I need a little bit more yardage just based off the timings because the timings brought the power down. But from here, I have them at 67 power, 98 timing, 83 swing path, 79 transition, and 94 lie range. That's what I really like, and then I like having them a little shorter because for me, I'm only really comfortable hitting a 97 or a gap wedge pitch, so that's 88 yards for me. So then from there, I like having a club 10 yards ish higher to then bridge that gap because I'm not comfortable hitting a pitching wedge pitch. I don't hit perfects with them. Hitting them fast can be a little wonky. So a 97 lob wedge is pretty much perfect for me. And pretty much if you have the same fittings across the board, this is how your yardage gaps are going to look between your 3 wedges, your 4 wedges if you count the pitching wedge. It's going to be 15-ish across the board, which is more than enough. You should be able to handle using loft to take yardage off, de-loft if you want to add yardage, and spin to kind of control how it's going to land. Then for putting, I go putt weight across the board. 99 putt weight, 68 putt path. A lot of people I've talked to like to sit around these numbers. Maybe if you want to have a little less putt weight, you can get the putt path up into the low 70s. But overall, this one doesn't really matter as much. Honestly, I just feel the putt weight helps give me a little more consistency in terms of vibro and feeling like I'm getting the pace that I intend to hit. Other than that, I haven't touched my fittings, honestly, for a long time. Probably 6 months, honestly, outside of my hybrid and my 5-iron. These ones have been sitting on the same setup for a long, long time. And in terms of bringing the hybrid into the bag instead of stepping on a 3-iron, like making my 3-iron, let's say, in the 230s and my 4-iron in the 215, my 5-iron around here, that's how I used to play. But the 3-iron, I feel, does not land soft enough when you take away timing and shaping to increase the power. I feel that the hybrid with shaping on it, loft and spin, is able to stop a lot quicker, and it makes it a lot easier for me to understand how the ball is going to interact with the green, into the wind, downwind, anything like that. I know I went through it a little fast. I didn't want to make this video too long. But overall, I hope you guys enjoyed. You guys can look at my drippy character right now. Um, we got more content coming from you. If you have any other questions about my fittings, skills, and archetypes, feel free to ask me honestly in the comments. I'll try and explain it the best I can. I'm not a guru with this. I just kind of play the game and live life and do what I do. I've just happened to be decently good at this game recently, so it's kind of helped me be able to bring content to you guys, and I really do enjoy it. But overall, I hope you guys enjoyed. It was me blabbering about golf that I may or may not even be right about, to be completely honest with you. But this is my thought process on how I built out my bag, chosen my archetype, and chosen my fittings. But I appreciate y'all for watching this. Show it some love. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. This is the golf bag of the #1 player in the world, and it's worked pretty damn well for me. We've won 5 times in almost around 18, 19 events in Plat this season. We have 17 top 10s, 16 top 5s, 5 wins. I mean, it's been a crazy ride. But I love you all. It's been me and Remy. He's sleeping. He just yelled at an Amazon driver. You didn't hear it. I'm glad y'all enjoyed this video. I'm going to go. I got some impossible challenges coming for y'all. But until then, I appreciate you. I love you. Peace.